Hi guys, welcome to Testimony Tuesday. My name is Lana and I will be sharing a testimony with you guys today. So this is actually quite recent. So on Friday, craziest thing happened. Now before I get into the crazy part of my testimony, I just wanted to stress the importance of what it means to listen to God's voice and obeying what he's saying and having discernment and just knowing that God is protecting you. So Friday, as you all know, I am a integrated aide. I work for a Christian school out in regional Victoria. And school lets out at 3:16. Now, as an aide, when the warning bell goes at 3:11, that's when technically we're allowed to leave. You can have the option of staying until final bell and then going. And throughout the whole of period 6, in my mind, I was like, do I leave first bell? Do I leave later when everyone else leaves? And I was kind of just like, it's an inner battle that I have every day. But on Friday, it was, I remember this, that I was just like, okay, do I leave at first bell? I don't know, whatever, I won't think about it. And then 3 o'clock came, and in my mind, I know that I had just decided, I'm going to leave at 3:11. When the first bell goes, I'm going to go. And then 3:11 comes around, warning bell goes, and as the bell is going, something in me just didn't sit right. My spirit was unsettled. And amongst all the craziness of that first bell and all the kids packing up, I just felt God speak to me and just say, wait. Just wait. And I didn't think much of it. I was like, okay. So obviously I had stayed back. I didn't leave at first bell like I had originally planned. And then final bell goes and everyone leaves. I'm taking my time. I walk to the staff room, get my things out of my locker, have a little chat to some of the teachers, go to the toilet. Like, I'm dawdling. I'm taking up time. And then I go and sign out, and by the time I've gotten myself into my car and ready to leave, it had been about 10 minutes from the original time I would have left. So I'd started driving, and even as I started driving, I just felt unsettled. Like, should I have waited longer? Should I have just stopped by KFC or something, on my way home, because it's an hour drive home. And as I'm driving, I still feel unsettled, and about 5 minutes outside of the suburb that I work in, there was a massive crash. I could just see ahead that there was an accident, but I didn't know how serious the accident was until I got closer. And as I got closer, my heart just jumped out of my chest. I was completely baffled. I could not believe that this had happened. Now, there was a truck and 2 other cars. The ute that must have hit the truck was completely smashed up from the front. There was a tire missing. There was another car off in the ditch, and a truck that was in the ditch. So the truck was stuck, was just leaning off. And as I'm coming closer to the incident, there's just things everywhere. Glass shattered, pieces of the ute just all over the road, pieces of the other car all over the road, and people were everywhere. And in that moment, I just started crying. I was so overwhelmed by what I was looking at in front of me that I just cried, and I couldn't believe it, because I knew for a fact that had I left at the time that I originally had planned, I would have been one of those cars. I would have I could have been the ute. I could have been the car that was stuck in the ditch. Either one of them, I just knew that I would have been in that. Had I not listened to God's voice when he was telling me to wait, I would have been in that. And I just started crying. I was in tears. Not only for the fact that God has just saved my life again, but my heart was, I just started praying for those who were involved. I wasn't sure about the driver for the ute. I don't know if he was okay or not. He wasn't in the ute, so I assume he was okay. He or she. The truck driver was still in the truck. And there were just people everywhere, so I knew that I didn't need to be out there as well. So I slowly made my way through and just kept driving. But the entire ride, I was just in absolute awe. Like, I was just in tears. Like, I was crying. And, you know, it's dangerous to drive and cry at the same time. So I'm trying to, like, wipe my tears, trying to get cold on there, because I would have just caused my own accident had I kept crying the way that I was crying. But had I not listened, had I disobeyed God's still voice in me, I wouldn't be here right now. I would not have made it home. And the thought alone scares me. It scared me that I might not have been here. And no one would have known. And the importance, like, I can't stress enough the importance of what it means to learn how to hear God's voice and know that he's talking to you. I don't know. I am just in complete awe that God continues to protect my life, to protect me wherever I am. You know, and I came home and I just cried a little bit more. No one was here. Crystal and Drew's hadn't come home yet. And I just cried. Like, it was just, I just couldn't believe it, that I couldn't possibly have not made it home that day. I sent a message to Matt. He calls me straight away. I let my parents know. And because my parents know that I drive so far, my dad's always reminding me that they're always praying for me when I'm on the road, because they know. But I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful that I listened. It's not that I probably wouldn't have, but like sometimes, you know, I could just be like, no, it's nothing. It's alright. I'll just go. I'll go at the first bell. I'll leave. But that day, God was really like, just wait. You don't know why he's telling you to do this, but it's going to save you. So when that still voice is speaking to you, it pays to listen. It pays to just not go on what's in your mind, what you feel you should do. It pays to obey when God is speaking to you. So my encouragement is, if you have never heard God's voice before, you've never had one of those moments, I pray you learn to train yourself to hear God's voice, or just train yourself to know when he's speaking to you, because God definitely saved my life, and I would not be here today to testify if I had disobeyed and done what I would have done. So yeah. Hope you guys are blessed by this. So yeah. Love you guys.